it says something when the star looks at a cookbook to get instructions.
I just want to make sure that I have all the information correct.
I see bacon. That's all that matters.
We love bacon.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Flo. This is Dude behind the camera, and we are going to update our one-pot pasta. I've learned a few things over the last several years since the original video came out, and I found that there are some tips that I want to pass along that makes one-pot pasta much easier to make without fail. I say that because in my original video, I use spaghetti. And although I love spaghetti, but it doesn't always turn out. Like sometimes, I don't know why. It just like sometimes it overheats, sometimes the spaghetti's not completely cooked. Yeah, I get all sorts of messages, but I love making it so much that we have it practically every week. And we don't always use spaghetti, but we use other pasta that is pretty much foolproof. I don't think we've ever gone wrong with using other pastas.
So foolproof, in fact, that I'm the one who makes it a lot during the weekly.
Yeah, actually, that's why we actually have it every week. It's the one thing that Dude will make on the one night that I can't make dinner. Full recipes are available to my patrons on Patreon, and you can find the details to that in the description below. So let's get started.
It's hot.
Okay, we gotta get going, dude. All right, I'm starting off with about a pound of bacon. I'm just gonna slice it all up into pieces. You know what? Actually, what we should be doing is filming Dude making this recipe, because he now says, you know, I don't use the chef knife to cut the bacon. I use the santoku. So here I am using the santoku knife. He says it cuts through way better. Oh, you're right. Look at that.
It's butter.
Is it because you sharpened it recently?
No, I sharpened both knives. I don't know. Maybe it's the thinner blade. Maybe it's the design of the blade.
Oh, maybe. How about that, guys? Dude had a tip. I'm just going to put that all in the Instant Pot. And you know what? Even if you decide that you don't want to use all the bacon, which sometimes we do that as well. We just cook all the bacon, and then we will use the cooked bacon for other things during the week. While that's cooking, I'm going to cut up my onion. I just have a medium-sized onion. All right, so I have cut my onion in half, but left the end on. And I find that if I just cut through, not all the way to the end, it's easier to chop it. So this part kind of holds it all together.
Oh, it's looking good.
This is the most time-consuming part, is to cook all this bacon down. So if you're in a hurry and you don't mind that there's no bacon, then completely just even skip this step. But who doesn't have time for bacon?
Right?
I'm gonna take the bacon out and drain it on a paper towel. I'm gonna remove some of this fat that's left over in the pot. I cooked this on saute mode, adjusted to more heat, because I'm impatient like that. It's still on saute mode, and I'm going to add my onions. I've left about 2 tablespoons of fat, bacon fat in there. And by cooking the onions, it will help to deglaze some of the brown bits at the bottom of the pot. You can see all the brown bits at the bottom. We need to scrape all of that up, otherwise the pot will overheat or send a burn message when you're trying to cook under pressure. And then cooking onions after is a really great way of deglazing the pot, because it releases some liquid, and then we can scrape up the little bits at the bottom. So after you've sauteed the onions for about 2-3 minutes, just as they're starting to get a bit translucent, you can see part of the pot is already deglazing a bit. But when we add the sausage, that will help too. So I have a mild Italian sausage here, and you can use ground beef or hot Italian sausage, whatever you like. As Jude pointed out, there's a piece of paper at the back here. I'm going to take off. Make sure you don't cook that. So that's a pound of Italian sausage. So we're going to saute that. We're just going to break up the sausage and cook it all the way through. Then scraping the bottom of the pan as you go as well. If you're still seeing some burnt bits at the bottom of the pot, then add some water to deglaze the rest. Just really, you don't want the pot freaking out while you're trying to cook. All right, so just let's see if Jude can just show you what it should look like. See, that's clean. I'm turning it off. Oh, it's so hot today. So glad that we don't have to turn on the stove or oven. Okay. What I like to do is add a beef broth, and that just makes the pasta more flavorful and
Beefy.
So since I use better than bouillon, instead of making the broth, what I do is just add the bouillon into the meat mixture, and then I just add my water on top. So I'll put a tablespoon of better than bouillon and just stir it in there with the rest of the meat mixture. Hey!
That was good.
All right, I tried to flatten out the meat mixture a bit, and now I'm gonna add my pasta. Since my family has become more piggy, we're now using 1.5 pounds of pasta, but I would use at least 1 pound of pasta, and 1 bag is 1 pound.
Hey, these ones look like little springs.
Yeah, I like to use different types of pasta, and I really like this brand also because I can get it at Costco, and so it's less expensive when you buy 6 bags of them in 1 pack. But I found this at the local supermarket recently because Costco stopped carrying the ones I like. Hate it when that happens. The whole bag is going in, and another half a bag. I am using the 6-quart pot. I find that the 8-quart takes too long to come to pressure and to decrease in pressure when I'm only making this amount. I think maybe if I was making more, I would use the bigger pot, but 1.5 pounds of pasta in the 6-quart works just fine. We're gonna add about 4 cups of water, and we want the water to come up to almost covered. So that's good, because now we're gonna put our sauce right on top. Now we don't wanna stir, we're just gonna leave it like this. I'm using a 860 ml jar of marinara sauce, and you can use whatever sauce you like. My daughter really likes the 5 cheese sauce, but I'm not using 5 cheese today. I find this 1 jar is enough.
I gotta stand back, dude.
And we're just gonna cover the rest of the pasta. And again, we're not gonna stir. Just gonna let it sit on top.
Hey, was there a video way back when you were doing something with tomato paste or sauce that it like just spewed towards me?
Yes.
I gotta find that.
That was the risotto bolognese. So Dude likes to add the bacon back in, so we're gonna put half of it back in.
Just a little bit. No, not even half, dude.
Really?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Well, by leaving some of the bacon on the side, you get the extra crispiness. Otherwise, it gets a little bit, mixed in with the sauce, which is great. It adds another layer of flavor. Well, it already has bacon flavor in it from all the bacon fat at the bottom of the pot that we scraped up.
Well, I just add a little bit during the cooking, and then after, when it's finished cooking, I mix in a little bit more instead of just waiting for people to put it as a topping. That's just me, but that's just me,
Yeah, because you don't want people eating all your bacon.
Hey.
Putting the lid on locking it into place, making sure the sealing knob is on sealing. And when we're cooking pasta, we cook it for half the time that it says to cook it on the bag. So this one says it takes 10 minutes, so we're gonna cook it for 5 in the Instant Pot. All right, dinner will be ready soon. The reason I stopped stirring the pasta when I make one pot pasta now and just leave it in layers is that I find when tomato paste or tomato sauce is at the bottom, it may start to burn because tomato has a higher, I guess, scorching temperature.
Lower scorching temperature.
A lower scorching temperature, so it burns more easily. So this way I find, you know what, I've scraped off the bits at the bottom. There's just water down below. That water is going to create the steam to get the pressure cooker going. And yeah, and then the tomato sauce just sits on top, and then at the end when we mix it all together, it's just delicious. And I don't have to stir in advance, and actually makes it a little bit easier to make. As I mentioned earlier, I've had many incidents where I want to make spaghetti as the one pot pasta, and I often get an overheat or a burn message. And so what I do to mitigate that without, you know, burning the whole thing and having to stop and start, which I have tried, the easiest way for me to make sure that that pot of pasta is saved is, you know what, as soon as I see the overheat, I just turn it off. And then I time it for about 5 minutes for the cook time. And then I just open it up and see what happens. And usually it's cooked perfectly. And I just give it a stir. There may be a little bit of burning at the bottom, but not so much that you would get the burn flavor in your pasta. So it's still savable, it's still yummy, and I've just learned how to deal with it. So the cooking's done. We're gonna quick release, and it'll take about 2-3 minutes for all the pressure to completely release.
Come on, use your finger.
I don't know why I'm still like afraid of that thing. Just a little impatient. All right. I know that it looks really soupy right now, but once you stir it all up, it absorbs into the pasta and it's just the perfect consistency. Well, look at these little pastas, they're so cute. We're gonna add some grated Parmesan cheese, freshly ground pepper, because dude likes a little bit of heat.
Yep.
And a sprinkle of bacon bits.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all ready for?
Oh, yeah. You like that?
Such a clown.
The taste. Oh, try not to burn myself. Dang it.
Scoop from the top.
I am, dude.
It's better when I make it, isn't it?
The flavor is just so layered and complex, in my opinion. I am no expert tester or food taster, but you have the bacon and the sausage adding a little bit of heat because it's the mild sausage, and the pasta, like the pasta as opposed to the spaghetti, it just seems to soak up all the sauce, you know? And then the flavor just stays in there, so you don't have like, you know, strands of spaghetti that aren't like sauced up. It's good.
Awesome. Thanks, dude.
Mm-hmm.
All right, remember to click the thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe to my channel below here. Recipe book, which has this recipe in it, over here. And check out my other videos over there. Till next time, be simple, ordinary, and joyful.